I hope you can hear me. I'm all mic'd up because we are in the middle of a storm, but just my quick first thoughts. This isn't a review. Quick first thoughts on this little beauty. So this is the Cyansky. There's a little bit of light leak there going on, so you can't really see it. There you go. So this Cyansky P12R. So have a look at that one. So pretty nice. Rather small, as you can see, fits in my hand nicely like that. The reason it's small, even though it is a thrower, which you tend to get bigger because you've got the big reflecting bowl there, because it's small, it is a 14500 cell. So 14500 are the smaller cells. They look like a double A physically, but the chemistry is different, so it's a lithium ion. Although this will fall back to normal double A's, which is really, really nice. And you can use, obviously, nickel metal hydrides in the AA form factor. So we'll turn around here. So apologies for the sound, but you know there is actually a storm going on here. So let's get this turned on. So one side button, if I can get it to work. There you go, I'm doing this one-handed. So where's the light? There it is, right, okay, there you go, right. So it's a little bit of a thrower, and I'll go over some of the specs just whilst I go through some of these modes. Then I'll go through each mode and explain what the output is and what's happening. So that's its main output there. So it is an IP68, so dustproof and waterproof, excellent, even though it does have a flap, so I will test that. And the flap allows Type C charging, so excellent. Does it work with power delivery? In other words, can you use a Type C to a Type C? I will be testing that. Quite a white tint, probably difficult for you to see here unless I show you some sort of side-by-sides, but I will do that in the full sort of video. And what I'll do in a moment is I'll show you side-by-side so you can calibrate with some other lights. All of them, bar one, which is like a wild card, will be using a 14500. So like I say, nice. This is using an Osram P9, kind of an older sort of emitter, but nice and throwy, you know, a fun emitter. As you can see, beam-wise, let's have a little look. Let's come down here and see what we've got here. So it's your traditional smooth reflector there. So you have your, I'll use my little finger here. So you have from here to here is your spill, and then in the middle is your spot, which is the projected light. So we'll go over these modes now. In fact, we'll boom, boom, boom. Right, that's the lowest. So that's 5 lumens. So let's come back a bit there. So there you go, 5 lumens, and it's reaching the wall there. So in fact, we'll turn around. There you go, that's better, even though I am into the wind. There you go. Right. So this will show you off into the distance. There you go. So 5 lumens, not a lot going on there, little bit of tint shift. I can see on camera. I've done this in 4K and HDR, so it will be representative of what you should be seeing. Okay, so then you can pop it up from the 5 lumens to 50, so there's your 50. Quite wide for a small EDC, which is good, that's what you want. Generally for a small EDC, I would generally like something like rather than a smooth reflector, I would generally go for something like a TIR. Which spreads the light out beautifully, almost like a diffuser, so pretty nice. But you can see that's not reaching, and walls, yeah, it's reaching the walls, which is absolutely fine, but it's not massive. The next level is 300. So there's your 300. We'll come back a little bit there. That's pretty good. I'm in a rather large cavern here, or cavern type structure. I just wanted something where I've got something flat and close up, because EDC is more about that and more of an urban environment instead of being in them, you know, the wilds of Wanny and in the middle of nowhere. That's pretty good, see? And then not much throw though, is there? But it does have a trick up its sleeve. So it's turbo mode. They are claiming on their testing, I haven't tested it yet, 1300 lumens. So let's try that. So as you can see, it's reaching the walls, on the floor there and up to the ceiling. So let's try that now. So boom, nice. Now it's not a piercing throw, although we haven't got an atmosphere here where you'd be able to see that. It's not like super piercing. So it's not seen right down there, but 1300, you know, it's not massive, but it's pretty impressive. I think if you were taking the dog for a walk and you needed some throw, or you're after a burglar, I think that's more than enough. I think that's pretty good. So 2 meter drop rating, which is nice to see. I'm interested to see what the price is, because I couldn't find it on the website. This has been sent to me. I saw some eye shine there. Let me have a look. Could have been a fox or something crossing. So I'm not sure on the price yet, but I'll try and get that for the final review, because this was sent to me. This was sent to me by the guys at Cyansky. They said, you have a look at this because we trust you. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's have a look up on this ceiling here. So pretty good. So let's turn this off. What I'll do is I'll show you some other lights so you can calibrate. So pop that in my pocket. Right, so what did I bring to test it with? Now, bear with me. Now this feels like the Lumen Top Tool AA V2. In fact, I'll show you. Silly me, I shall show you. That's what it looks like. Again, using exactly the same cell, 650 lumens on this one rather than the 1300 claim on the one I've just shown you. But a nice little light. Again, smooth reflector there, as you can see, pretty nice. I've just put the diffuser over the tail clicker. You don't have to do that, but it's an added feature. It just clicks on and clicks off. So I'll turn this off and show you. So we'll go through the modes. So there is its low, I think. Boom, boom. There you go. That's its lowest, so quite spready. Now if I push this forward, you will see the extremity of that beam look very wide, you see? When I'm there, you can't see where the sides are. It's not until I do that. So very wide, even though it's a smooth reflector, so quite a wide, not that punchy. So that's its lowest. And there's the next level. So again, very wide. Quite a nice tint on that, almost quite sort of neutral. And then the next level, boom, I think that might be its highest unless there's one more. Let's turn around. There it is on the wall. Pretty nice. I've always liked this light. No, that's the highest. There you go, that's the highest. So let's see if that pushes out. I expect not, no. Very little penetration there. Not really dedicated throughout, but that's not what it's intended for. So go back to the lowest, boom. So a nice light, but you know, horses for courses, as they say. It depends what you're after. Okay, so the next one, in regards to throwers, a little bit bigger, but still using the same cell. So this is the LumenTop GT Micro. So as you can see, much bigger bowl. This is a dedicated thrower, I would argue. Smooth reflector again, but you are gonna get some throw with this. So this is using an older, I think it's XPL High by Cree is the emitter. So I'll turn this out and I'll show you its modes. If I can get it turned on. So that's its lowest there. Not a lot going on, but very wide, look. See that? So if I pull this back quite wide although I say that, it's not that wide, so we'll ramp it up to about halfway, so that's about halfway. Yeah, so it's not that wide, it's certainly not as wide as the last one, and I don't think it's as wide, but it's as the P12R, but it's more penetrating, and to show you that, I'll edge up a little bit here. So yes, it goes to walls, but only in one spot, and then if I go to its maximum, now this is using Andrel, so I need to try and find the button. There it is. Found it, right, so let's ramp down and then let's ramp all the way up. There, so much more penetrating. I can see way down that path. Not massively, but you can actually physically see the beam there. Can you see it? It's almost like a blue shaft in the middle there, so you can see that. So do you want a little bit more? I mean, this is more cumbersome in the pocket, but you're going to get some serious throw on this one, even though it's only 1,000 lumens. Boom, and out. So very nice, not a bad light. Let's see what else I brought. I also brought the top, which I shall show you now. Turn my light on. There's the top, and I will unlock that. There you go, it's unlocked. Boom, right. So this has the screen on it, which is nice. So if we turn that on, it tells you, look, 4.12 volts, and it gives you a run time, which I really like. So to show you that, let's turn it on. So I'll just go through the modes. So if I can get it to focus, there you go. So you've got one which will give you 71 hours. Now this isn't using a 14500, I realise that, it's more of a wild card, but it's a small light EDC and it will give you around 1,000. So, well, on maximum anyway. So you've got your 1 lumen, 15, 65, 200, and then it rotates back again unless you hold it down. So we'll go through them now. Not a lot to see though, is there? Look. There's a other mode, and then, so we'll go through them. So there's your lowest one. Sorry if there's any wind noise, which I expect there will be. There's actually a storm going on right now. So I'm getting sand in the eyes here. So next mode, that is your 65. Right, there's your 200. Very diffuse, but it is using a TIR. So that's to be expected. I'll just come slightly to the left to try and avoid some of this wind. That's a bit better. Okay, so let's go for its turbo. So in turbo, very, very illuminating, excuse the pun, but it is illuminating. But look how usable that is as an EDC light. Very wide, diffuse beam. Nice bit of punch there, but it's not aiming too high in regards to how far it's going to hit distance-wise. I think that's a good light. Now on there, bear in mind, on some of the higher levels, you get 2 hours, 34 minutes on the 200, so you're not going to get much. In fact, I can just hear I can hear a bat up there, so I hope I'm not disturbing them. So turn that off. In fact, we'll lock that. So what you do is you hold that down and then it locks. Boom. And the next one. So the next one we are looking at is, it feels like a TS10 from Workhorse, but I'll check that. It is. There you go. TS10 from Workhorse. This is very, very nice light, EDC, quite cheap. Tail clicker again, and it has that lovely blue auxiliary light on it. And it's anti-roll 2, so very capable and very powerful. But again, it's still using the 14500 cell, so let's turn that out. So we'll put this on a really low mode to begin with. Now I'll show you actually. It would help if I showed you these things. It's TIR, but there's 3 of them, so it's a triple emitter, but it's a very diffuse beam. So we'll turn that out. Let's have a look at this diffuse beam. So there it is. That's actually on, believe it or not, on its auxiliary. So you can almost pick out the ground look. I don't even have to turn it on. See, that's quite a nice feature which I like. So then when I turn it on, that's it on there, very low, but we'll ramp it to about halfway. That's about halfway. There you go. Now the claim on this is 1400 lumens, if I remember rightly. So 100 more than what light we're supposed to be looking at, but quite impressive. And then we'll go to turbo. Boom, look at that. Again, that to me looks like the TUP, but much more powerful, much wider, and a nicer tint. Very warm tint on that one. So really, I think it's a CSP is the emitter on this, which I'd never heard of, but they're really good. And obviously at this level, you are going to get drop down and step down because of the heat, but pretty nice. Let's check it on the wall there. Nice tint. I don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. Boom, turn that out. Sorry for sniffing here, if you can hear that, but it is very, very, very cold. It's close to minus temperatures here. Okay, so what else are we looking at? FWAA from Lumen Top, and I'll just show you that there. Should see on there, FWAA. Now it's using an SST20, there's 3 of them, and again, very similar set of the last one, but I would argue that the tint on this one's slightly better. So let's come back a little bit to get away from this wind. Tail clicker again, 1400 lumens, anti-roll, very nice. So let's turn that off. Let's get that on. So there it is at a low level. In fact, I'll ramp through. So I'll ramp to its lowest. Right, that's its absolute lowest. I can see that, but you probably can't. And then ramp up to about halfway. That's halfway. Beautiful tint on this, extremely nice. Very wide beam, but not a lot unless you're right up close on that level. And then if we go to maximum, so there's maximum. Boom, there you go, turbo. Very similar to the last one. Different emitters though, SST20s, there's 3 of them. Beautiful tint on this. It's slightly north. In other words, it's a little bit warmer than neutral, but I really, really like it. And I'm sometimes a tint snob. I've been accused of that. So pretty nice, and we'll show you the artwork there in this tint. And again, it should pick up the whole color gamut because I've done this in HDR. There you go. Boom, turn that out. If I can, there you go. Okay, get that out the way. What else was I testing it with? Okay, I was also testing it with the E2A, I think this is from Skill Hunt. There you go, E2A, it should say there. Yeah, E2A by Skill Hunt. More like a micro-lensed TIR setup, tail clicker again. I think this is about 600 lumens. In fact, I might have that wrong. I'll double check that, but it might be just a 600. So we'll get this turned on. There you go, boom, right, lowest. So quite punchy that, isn't it? For a TIR setup, I mean it is TIR, but it's like a forward micro lens affair, so it does punch forward, so not very wide there unless you turn it up a bit, so turn it up the next level. Doom, doom, right, that's its highest. This probably is about 600, because the tool AA V2 is 650, I think this is 600. Nice tint on this. That is usable, very usable. Same cell though, 14500 again. Very nice. Let's show you the artwork on this one. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so I've calibrated your eyes. You know what you've been looking at and what I've described there. So let's turn the light on. And what we'll do is, if I can find it, there it is. Go back to the light we're supposed to be talking about. Right, let's discuss this. So I like it so far, but this is very early days, so this isn't a review. So there's your Type C on the back. You have a button on the side which has a little LED in the middle, so that will tell you when it's charging, it will be red, and when it's green, it's full. Type C to C, I think I tested it once and it did work, but I'll have to double check that because I want to know what power delivery method it is using. It has a neat little feature where on the base, well, inside anyway, it has a magnet. So you can stick that on any metallic surface there, boom, and it will stick. Now, there aren't any around here that I can check with. You know, there's no funny fences or anything, so I can't show you that, but that does work. And like I say, it's a bold, you know, standard reflector thrower, very nice. And it does have a battery level indicator on here. So green solid is up to 75%, and then green flashing's about 50, and then I think it's red is below 50, and then red flashing is 25 and below. So you do get a, you know, an indication of when the battery needs charging, then you can charge it quite handily. And you can take that out and charge it yourself. You can use AA's, alkaline, nickel metal hydride, although be careful, you cannot charge nickel metal hydrides in this, which is a bit of a shame, but I get it, I get what they're aiming at, but that would have been nice. So they've gone at the trouble of putting the fallback on the AA in there, but you can't charge them. I wonder if that is possible with some, you know, like a new, you know, like a new sort of setup that could do. And believe it or not, I'm filming this and I'm actually getting a phone call. So that's brilliant. It's always when I'm filming, so I'll just wait for those to go off the screen there. Get off. Right, I'll try and talk through it, because all I can hear is the thing going boop, 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 in my head. Right, it's gone. Sorry about that. Very unprofessional. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes. So very, very good. I like it so far. Like I say, it does 5, then 50, and 300, then 1300. There is a step down, obviously, because of the size of this and temperature. After 120 seconds, it will step down to about 600 lumens, which I think's workable. You know, that's not the end of the world. It's not ramping straight down, and at least they are telling you straight off what that is. It kind of reminds me of the OLite ones, where they tell you when it's going to step down. It's not mega rapid, where it's like 30 seconds and you get stumped. Okay, so let's put this back on, and I'll go through the modes there. Right, there's the lowest, so 5. In fact, we'll come out of this environment, actually. We'll do it on the wall first, then we'll come out. So 5, 50, 300. Pretty good. 300, and then boom, that's your maximum. Nice. Let's come out here a bit. Now, it will be windy, so apologies again on the noise. I've used one of the best mics I can get my hands on, so it should take some of that out. And I think I've done it in 32-bit float, so if there's any clipping, I'll see to that. Okay, so that's pretty good. Now there's some fields along here. So what I want to do is, so let's say we are walking along. Let's see what that looks like. So yeah, I wouldn't walk on the lowest, which is the 5 lumens. You'd need at least the 50. As you can see, there's my feet. So you need at least 50 to see where you're going. But then if you want to stretch out a bit, you're going to have to go for the 300. That's okay. Right, here's a field, but you can't see into it. Now over here, I think you can. Let's have a little look here. Here we go, here's a gap. Right, let's go. Right, there's 5. Now obviously doing nothing in that field there. Then there's your next level. So you can see it's picking up on this grass and very close by, but not a lot else. And then there's your 300, it's starting to push out. Quite a wide spot on that, have you noticed? Very wide spot there. But you can see the beam starting, whereas I couldn't see it before. And then we'll go to its turbo level. Bang, there you go. So just to show you, I am using that light. So now you can see the beam. I think that's pretty impressive. Interesting how they've chosen to keep that spot quite wide. It kind of reminds me of one of the Ace Beam headlamps I was testing. That's very interesting. I think that's probably more usable as an EDC, because you don't necessarily want it as a dedicated thrower. But something like that, you would go for the Lumen Top Micro, the GT Micro. That's pretty good. I'm impressed with that. Now I'm going to come back here and go back this way, because the wind is playing havoc with my gimbal here. There's nothing worse than getting your gimbal blown away. So that's pretty good. And as you can see, it's shown into that structure there, no problem. Wow, the wind's really getting up. I've just heard a tree come down, I think. Okay, so I've talked enough, and this was supposed to be just a quick look, and it's already reaching nearly 20 minutes. It's getting ridiculous. So 2 meter drop rating, IP68, which is really good. There you go, that's a bit better. Yeah, IP68, very impressive. And Type C charging. All the things you would want. And I think that looks pretty good, doesn't it? And like I say, there is a step down on its turbo, but come on, that's to be expected. Pretty good, very happy with that. Okay, so if you've got any comments or questions, stick them down below and I will get to them as soon as I can. Full review up when I've carried this for at least 2 weeks. At this point I have actually carried this for a week, so that won't be too long off. But these are my initial thoughts still. I haven't done enough side by side, and I will do plenty tonight though. So thanks for joining me. Right, over and out. Get this turned off. Right, good night.